Hello, hello, hello. I can hear myself. Let's see. Let's go to... Oh, I should be unmuted. So I think y'all can hear me now too. I think it all sounds good. Looks like it's coming through, so... Hey y'all, what's up? How's it going? Happy Friday. I am just trying to figure out why my Stream Elements bot isn't working for some reason. Like I have my YouTube working, like my YouTube thing here, but my Stream Elements bot itself is not working. And of course I don't think about it until right now, but we'll just stop this in a minute. I was just hoping there was an easy answer. Add the bot to your channel. Let's see. So we add the bot to my channel, join the Discord. Okay, that doesn't matter. For those already channel settings, choose the Google account, choose channel and brand, allow. Now that your YouTube channel is connected with Stream Elements, here is an overview of how to use your feature. I don't care. I just want chatbot. Like, does it not work? Chatbot is added from the initial setup menu. Modules, chat commands. That's what I want. I want chat commands because I want you to be able to be like !get and it send my GitHub. But let me just make sure it's set real quick and then we'll, if it's not, then we're gonna keep going into actual like other things. Guess that's here. Owner. Yeah, that's me. Looks right. One last thing to check, and then I promise we'll get started. All right, you know what? I'll figure it out later. Maybe. We'll see. So today, actually, let's start it with like a run through of what's going on today. Number one, I have a nifty little Notion page here that's super neat that you can follow along on. Work in public. You should be able to see all these tasks and stuff like without being logged in. If you're not, like, if you can't see it, let me know. And there's a link to this Notion page in the doc, in the description as well if needed, so please feel free to drop in there as you need to. And it's just going to be like in progress and just kind of keep things organized, like where you can find these streams and stuff like that afterwards. So that's the case. So today we're working on this new project form that opens in the middle of the screen when clicking on plus, and then so we're just kind of doing the Mac app part of that today. Nothing really like too heavy in the Vapor world, but we will be using like TCA and stuff to make this happen. So let me open my sketch file real quick because I started trying. I don't think I got very far in the sketch file, to be honest. I think it's still like slightly there. So here it is. Yeah, I did nothing really to actually like formulate what the form looks like besides add this button here that says add project. So that's what we're working on today. Obviously my sketch file's very in depth today on what this looks like. We're kind of gonna design and code at the same time, which is awesome, right? New project view though. But how is your Friday going? Hold on. Let's go a little bit brighter, maybe. There we go. That's a little bit better. A little bit brighter. But yeah, so today's Friday. It's pretty decent with me. Just kind of like existing really and getting this done. I don't think I really want it in like a navigation stack necessarily, but I do definitely want a title. So like not new form, a new project. Font dot large title. Yeah. And what if we bolded it also? I don't know. Does that look alright? I think that looks fine. And let's put a padding around here as well. Whoops. And then can we do a dot? Hey, Dobby, please don't lick. Corner radius, just to get like a nice little radius in there. And let's do a, I don't know if this will work necessarily, but what we are gonna do is wrap it in a V-stack. Put that there. And then we'll do a background color. Let's, white might not have been the right choice there. But now we can actually see like what exactly is inside this view versus like what's coming from the preview itself. Cool. I definitely do want a background of some kind here. So we're getting to like, again, we're doing a little bit of like style and code at the same time. Let's do a thick material. So when it's popped, like my idea is this pops over. It can either pop over, or it can pop up from the bottom. I haven't quite decided. It would be kind of cool to pop up from the bottom, huh? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I think that would be cool. Now that I'm talking about it out loud. And is this common in Mac apps? This is where like I want to do something that's like common in Mac apps to put this down here, like this button down here, but I don't know if it actually is common. Oops. Hey, Just Smile. Hello, hello. Welcome. I am doing all right. I hope you are too. How's it going? Don't lick, please. Thank you. Or is it more common to just have it back here? Like back in, I think it's probably more common to have it there. I don't know. Let's see. I was using things before. Whoops. Do I think it's too late to become an indie iOS dev? Lots of people saying the field is saturated. I don't think so. I think as long as you can like have as long as you have a good idea, you can put it in there. I mean, it's hard to say though. Like, is it too late? It might be. It just honestly depends on what you make of it, I guess I would say. Like, what are you going to like if you have an app idea, like how are you going to make it like unique basically? But no, that'd be like saying like, is it too late to just make an iOS app in general? Cause like there's a lot of apps out there. Like, I think what you get out of it will be what you put in though. But I'm downloading apps all the time. Of like new people. I already have that. I shouldn't have to sign in. Alright, you know what? We're not gonna open OmniFocus. That was another one that like, you know, okay, close. It's fine. What about reminders? Reminders probably a good one. Alright, so if I wanted to add a list, which is what a project is, then it just kind of opens into a whole new thing like this. So this makes sense to me. Like, stuff like that. I didn't even know you could have templates and reminders. It was easier in the beginning of the App Store where all the ideas were new. I mean, yeah, it definitely, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong that it was definitely way easier when there were new ideas. But, like, I don't know. That'd be like, no one else can ever make a car because we know what a car looks like at this point. Like, but yeah, you're right. It's always easier when you have newer ideas, but like you could have a good idea and then just like, I'm basically making a Jira replacement or a linear replacement or a GitHub projects replacement. Like it's literally the same idea, just with a different spin on it. Like, you know, so it honestly just depends on what you're trying to go for, I think, from your from what you're trying to do. But I think over to the right is what I wanted. And then we should also have a button to cancel, because that's pretty common. Button tapped. And it's going to be all upset, and that's okay. Ah, yes, because we don't have a thing here. Let's, we don't have a cancel button in here. All right, and this is not done. So again, we're following that TCA pattern. So you have a reducer going through the actions and stuff like that. So I think this is fine. That should be good now. Is there like a button roll? Bordered prominent? Is that what I want? Apparently not. Where did this go? Okay, so they start off .disabled. That makes sense. And then we can here go into our state. I mean our feature. And what I'm calling new project core. And in here we'll have a state for add project, and I mean is project enable, is add enabled. Equals false. So like this would be triggered based on if there are like validation basically. And really we can do this like a computed variable property more so here. Boolean, so but also to submit an app on the App Store, just smile, like it doesn't have to be fully unique. Title.count is greater than 0. Like as long as your like idea is good and it's valid, like it doesn't have to be really unique. Like just think about all the Twitter clients there were, or and all the like Mastodon clients there are. Like those clients exist. There's multiple versions out there. Like there might be a higher bar to actually hit at that point, but to me it totally makes like I don't think the market's like dead or saturated enough to like warrant you not like learning iOS or not learning like enough to like submit an app on the App Store, if that makes sense. So that's just my opinion though. Cool. I mean, we have something here, and if I think that's enough to add there. Let's work in public, get add dot get commit. This is the, do I put sometimes to learn UIKit, or are you all in on SwiftUI? I'm all in on SwiftUI. Like honestly, I'll learn UIKit if something pops up that I absolutely need to, but that hasn't really been the case, honestly. Like there's been enough in SwiftUI that I don't have to go and mess with UIKit. So yeah, I just went all in on SwiftUI and said, this is it. This is going to be my bread and butter, and that's what I know. And I can learn UIKit if I have to, like bits and pieces if I need to. I don't know, that new project like looks good enough for now, I think. Form is done. This will bother me. I definitely think, like, if you're just doing indie apps, I think for the most part, like, your SwiftUI is gonna get you there, depending on what you're doing. Comment fix. Yeah, there's, even at work, you didn't find the need. Yeah, we did, but like, then we realized SwiftUI could actually do what we wanted. But I haven't been on this on that side of work. I haven't touched that yet. Like that side, I actually found the SwiftUI way of doing things. But yeah, we touch UIKit when we have to, but we really try hard not to. Like, the app is a SwiftUI app. Like, we do what we can to make sure that SwiftUI actually, like, to fit SwiftUI into the app. Like, it might be easier in UIKit, or there might be a way to do it in UIKit. But, like, if we can do it in SwiftUI, like, why not go that route instead? Is there people mastering UIKit? No, there's no reason to. Basically, the people who know UIKit are the people who did iOS development before SwiftUI, and we reach for, and they take some of the UIKit stuff, but like as we reach parts that might need UIKit, like the developer like goes in and dives into that part of the app. So like maps are a good example. Not everything's available in UIKit. I mean, in SwiftUI. So like whoever's working with maps at the time, they try to see what's possible with SwiftUI and see if there's where that bridge has to happen, or where that pass off has to happen between UIKit and SwiftUI. And then they take on the UIKit work there. Like, that's just what they do. And that's part of it. I mean, that's also part of being a developer, is like being flexible enough to work with that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I would say like I said, we try to keep everything in SwiftUI as much as possible. If we need UIKit, we have to make a really good case for wanting to use UIKit. Cool. Let's make this appear now. I think should be possible. I hope. We'll find out. App view. But yeah, we try really hard not to use UIKit. So that's just the case. And like I said, there are some cases that you might want to use UIKit, but like it's not as necessary, I feel like, anymore. It's getting slowly like as unnecessary. So we need a show variable here, right? Like a public var show add project form. Boolean here. Name. Let's just copy paste. Whoops, it's not a string. What is wrong with me? False. Self.name, and this will be, there we go. Self dot show add project form. Cool. And yeah, that should be fine now. So now we need to add the case to the action here. So let's do case dot. Oh no, we've already done that. That's right. We don't need to add a new case to the action because it's already here, the add project button. This is gonna be a show add state dot show add project form equals true. Yeah. And we're gonna have to do some like callback handling, I believe, or not callback, but like a little bit of delegate stuff between these two states, because like that cancel button is on the that cancel button's on the new project view, so we need to like push it down, pull it back up and stuff like that. But we'll gather that when we get there. I want to get this button working right, so like if I run the app right now, I think it's running. Is it not running? Oh, I'm not. Haha. I have to be on the right scheme. So I've hit Command R to run the app now. Let's see how it goes. Just take some time. If you hit add project here, it's not doing anything currently. Let's do a .debug. Should be enough. Or replace. And what we can see is that it does actually change in the app state, like from false to true. So let's do this. Let's put a, how do you want this to show? So we could just have this be another view, like that pops up. So we have a Z stack already to get the buttons, but I want a Z stack over the whole thing, which is weird. Let's just try it out. All right, so we have the Z stack over the nav controller. And then if view store dot show add project form is true, what we want to do is have the new project view with a store. I need to import new project view here. Right? Yeah. And now we need the store. So this is kind of like the state that we were just working at for, this is just the state that we were just working at for that new project core. So we can just do store. Our initial state here, we're gonna actually let the app core keep track of this state for us. Public var, new project state. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then we'll do core.state here is what we need it to be. And then this can just be new project state. Yeah, so yeah, we won't work on anything that doesn't run iOS 16, basically, is our plan. I mean, that's, sometimes you have to make rules and follow them, and that's what we chose. Our app's not public right now, so like we can kind of make those decisions. How do I scope things again in here? yeah, so we'll do let store equals store state, a store that runs the entire application. And then here we can do store.scope. And then we can pass in the action. And then we need a case. I think this is where we can do something a little bit better than this. But we'll take that. Oh, that's silly. Why? New project for action is equatable, is it not? Oh, it's not. Can I make this equatable? Fix here. Okay, but I think there's something better we can do here. Because I really think there is. I think I remember seeing something on Point Free's website about this. They were talking about, I think it was in this one, the delegate pattern. Are we not just gonna, okay, that's fine. Cool. So we do is .send.delegate .switch to inventory tab. So we call these. Okay, so it looks like there's a case. Where does this go? So this is all looking pretty great. The parent domain shouldn't be responsible for listening to all of those different events to figure out when to mutate the selected state tab. That makes sense. Lightweight pattern to accomplish this, and we call it the delegate pattern. So we're using a .send effect helper to immediately and synchronously send an action. Okay, but oh, and then we switch on that action to do something. Okay, so if we go here, instead of doing that, we'll just do case delegate. And then we can do another enum in here called a delegate with a case of close action. I mean close new project view, right? And then instead of this, and we need this to be a public enum so it can be accessed outside, we can do case dot delegate Is that right? Let delegate? Is that what they did? Oh, case dot delegate dot whatever else is next. Okay. So case dot delegate. This isn't what we wanted. We wanted to do dot. I'm still not in the right, doing something right. Yeah, so delegate dot close new project view. So state dot show add project form equals false. And then state dot new project state equals dot state, because we gotta like null it out basically. And then we need a return nothing. We're not worried about like submitting anything right now. This is just like the dot close part of things. Cool. So we still haven't actually passed this in. Like, we still have this error because right now I was just setting up an action to talk between the new project the new project core and the app core, which still isn't actually done yet. So we need to go into that feature and actually do that part as well. But I just want to make sure. Inventory. We're using the .send effect helper to immediately and synchronously send an action, and this is totally appropriate to do for delegate actions. But generally speaking, the child reducer should never perform any logic in the delegate actions, which is why we pattern match on it all at once and return .none. Only the parent feature should layer any additional logic for those actions. So I think we can kind of... We need to get something out of it, though. Let's go into... Let's go back and go into downloads and composable navigation part 1. Inventory. I think I have this, actually. Hold on. Oh, thank you, Sarhat. I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping by also. Thank you very much. I'm just trying my best here with trying to understand how I'm doing everything. Which one did I do it in, though? Which one did I see it? Anyway, we'll just go to open and then try to find it from here. Point free. And it looks like we have an episode code samples. Yeah, is it not? Okay, let's try again. Open. Point free. Is it just like, nah. Really? That's odd. Okay. I'm getting a little bit. Apple, come on. Thank you. And it's 0222. Oh, wait. Did I not pull down? Sorry. I'm trying to get the examples open. New tab. Sure. That's fine. There we go. Now we have like a lot more inventory. That's what I was looking for. Let's open it and see what happens. How much did it take you for you to learn Swift and SwiftUI? I mean, like, to what extent? Like, I would still say I'm still learning Swift. Like, there's still a lot of stuff that I don't know that's still going on. Like, for me to feel comfortable to build an app, like, that was like a... I don't know, that probably took me like two or 3 months. Like, honestly, like building the actual app probably took a little bit longer because I was like learning along the way. So like how long it took me is a really hard question. It just I think it's more so like, 1, it depends on every person, and 2, it also depends on your comfortableness with it. So like what I mean by that is like I was comfortable enough after like diving into 100 days of Swift, like I got to like day 30 and I was comfortable enough to like go on my own and try to figure out how to make an app with core data and make some buttons work on a basic calculator type app in storyboards. After that, I did and then later that year or the following year, like SwiftUI came out, and that was just like, oh, cool, I'm done. That's what I'm learning from here on out. And like, I felt really comfortable like switching to SwiftUI, like right off the bat, and learning the ins and outs of that from the get-go. So like that was a very I don't know, like, and then it was a different step of comfortableness though to like be able to apply for jobs, because I more so had to wait for companies to get comfy with the idea of SwiftUI than for me. And I didn't start applying for iOS positions probably until like 2 years ago, I think, but that was more so I was waiting for SwiftUI positions to become available. So it's hard to say. I mean, if SwiftUI positions were available, I probably would have been ready within like the first like year or 2 years of SwiftUI being out, to be honest. Like, I'm a pretty quick learner. I like to dive into things. It also helps that this is just what I enjoy doing. Yeah, what's my background? I have a theater background. I have a degree in technical lighting, basically, and stage management, stuff like that. So theatrical lighting. I worked at a lighting manufacturer for about 5 years, and then hopped over to the tech sector, where I spent a year in Webflow development, like regular web development. And then I got my first iOS position last year in October. But throughout that, I've been like working with Swift and SwiftUI since like 2018 for Swift, and 2019 whenever SwiftUI was released, which I think was 2019. So that's just like a really quick summary of what my background actually is. But yeah, and like Swift and SwiftUI is honestly all like my hobby stuff. I'm just lucky enough that I could find a job to do it in, basically, or get a job in it. So yeah. All right, so yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That's always amazed me, seeing people from different backgrounds learning to code. You're doing good. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. It's definitely taken a bit of work to get to like a job level. I mean, I've been coding since high school, to be honest. It wasn't like something that I wanted to go to school for. I went to a super small high school with not a lot of opportunities, like to really like test out different extracurriculars and see what I really wanted to like do in life. So like what I knew was like what I knew was going to college was just going to be something that I was interested in. I could always get a job with something, basically. Like if I'm scrappy enough, I can make a job work if I need to. And at the time I was super interested in theater, but I also wanted to keep coding. So I took like a handful of computer science classes. I think I took 3. And then I did it's like the theater life just took over, and that's what I had to spend time on. And then once I graduated, I hopped back into like learning Swift and JavaScript and just trying to get to a job level, because like honestly that's what I wanted to do for the most part, was like code. So and I wanted to build iOS apps, because like I just wanted an app on the App Store, and that was my goal of learning Swift and SwiftUI, was just getting an app that I was happy with on the App Store, which I've done. I've had 3, I think. Yeah. So yeah. Can you learn it if you study full-time for 6 months with a background of someone? Probably. You probably could. Honestly, I don't know you. I can't exactly say yes or no. I mean, it's not terribly, like, once you know a coding language, you kind of know a lot of coding languages. Like, everyone has arrays of some kind. Everyone can add. There's loops. Like, you just got to figure out the nuances of that language, and you probably could, to be honest. I can't give you a for sure. Thank you, Serhat. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but thank you. I appreciate it. I kind of do this for fun, like for me. Like, I enjoy the streaming part, and then also I do it as like it helps me grow as well. It helps me really grow as like a developer, because I have to explain. I have to explain a lot of these. Like I have to explain what I'm doing, or I like explaining what I'm doing, so it helps me actually think about it. Oh, you meant the streams. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think the streams definitely will help, like, people probably come across things. I hope that's the goal. as I can help give a little bit back to the community as well. All right, so there's a case.delegate, which returns none. Right, so we have that. Case delegate. No, I don't. Case.delegate. How does this work? Oh, and then it sends the .delegate .switch inventory tab. Okay, I get it. So case.delegate is none. And then we do a case dot. I might be doing this on the wrong reducer. That is a strong possibility here. Yeah, I think I am doing this on the wrong reducer, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. We're going to find out. Inventory. So we go to inventory tab. So here's the app, then inside content view. We scope, inventory tab, inventory. Was I inside the inventory app? No, inventory. Okay, and then so this is like nothing, it looks like. Because now I have to figure out like how their example code is written, and this is what happens when I don't want to go watch the stuff. Okay, so they do a view store.send.go to inventory pattern tapped, which makes sense. Close new project view tapped. Okay. Which takes us to a inventory tab. So under content view tab.inventory. This is it. App feature action. They put everything in here. I was looking for a different thing. Okay, so it looks like they have an inventory here. Switch to, and they have a specific tab called, specific case called .switch to inventory. But that is on the app feature, not the where was that? Where was I reading that? Not the first tab feature. Okay, so this delegate is in the wrong spot. So this delegate needs to be on the top, needs to be inside the new project core. Because it populates up. Okay. So we don't want this or this. Copy that out and we can get rid of these things. Then we can paste here. Case cancel button tapped. So we can do a case.delegate here, which is what it was specified by that example. And then case cancel button tapped. Return dot send. Is that right? I think that's right. That's what I just, yeah. Okay, so that looks right at least. Oh, and we can get rid of this stuff. Right? Yeah, so that's what this looks like here, is we could get rid of that. So inside, though, the app feature, we do case switch to tab inventory, and it switches here. And it brings in this .delegate action on a caselet. .first tab. Okay. and it switches on action. So it looks like inside here, under action, I still need like a case new project. And then we can do a caselet. New project. And this new project needs to take in the new project core dot action. Yep. And then we can just listen for specifically the delegate. And then take in the action from that. What's wrong? No, it totally does. It just hasn't been built. I promise you it does. Build that. And then if I go back to app view, it should be okay now. It's just upset. Okay, so then here we can switch on the action again. Switch on action. I don't like all these nested nested things, but that's fine, I guess. We need to make an actual like action, I think, in here. Okay. Oh no, this would be the wait, hold on. State action, then we switch on which action is this? That's the action from the delegate. So this would be case dot cancel button tapped. State dot new project state equals new project core dot state to get rid of it. And we can get rid of that. And then we also need state dot show add project form to equal false so that that form will actually go away. Now I think if we build switch must be exhaustive. What cases am I missing? Oh, all of these new project cases. Let's just, I don't want to listen to all of those though. See, this is first tab. Oh, see, and then you can just return none for anything else. So we can just do case.newProject and just return none because like we don't care about anything else basically to do it on. And the new project, it still doesn't have a member of delegate, but it certainly does right here. Let's build it again. Let's see what happens. Build failed. Why? It totally does. Okay, so it's failing here. Let's just comment this out for now. Cool. Sometimes with all of these, like I'm basically building them in separate project libraries to help follow more of like what TCA, what the point free people follow, and then also to help with like the project file not being a mess. So that's what's happening there. All right, so now we can create these scopes, right? So there's this feature called scope, and what a scope actually does inside the composable architecture is it basically allows for the reducer of the child to be present in the parent. And in not all cases do you want like a nested reducer to actually populate back up to the parent. But if you do, this is when you'd use it for sure. When you'd use scope. So like we want a scope inside this right now, because basically when when we click on new project, we want to hold that state on whether the new project's there or not. And then also we need to be able to communicate back and forth to like close the new project, right? And we need to be able to say whether it's going to be started from a brand new project, or maybe there will be at some point like an edit project button that is basically the same reducer, so we could just reuse it that way. So with this add project, so now we need to create a scope inside this, and it doesn't have to be inside the switch statement. It just needs to be inside it needs to be outside the reducer. So we have this reducer here, so we can just call it, let's just put in a mark scopes. That way we can just see where we're going. I think it has to be somewhere else, but we'll just... I don't think this is where it's supposed to be. Hold on. I'm wrong. I'm almost positive. No, yeah, no, yes, I am wrong. It's outside of the reducer, inside the action. And what we're actually going to do is create a public body. And I did this in new project core, and we're just going to return some reducer. It's going to be of a type reducer. Has actions and states. And the reason why we're doing this is so that we can just keep this a little nice and separated here. So that inside body, we can call in core. So we can say reduce, and then we pass in the reducer of core. And then we can do this cool little scopy thing inside the reducer. So it just helps keep this core function like switching on actions. And now we have some scope in here that we can actually do. So the scope, the state, we're going to use a case path here. I think I can just do dot. How does that work? Yeah, backslash dot. New project state. And then this is going to be backslash dot new project. And that shouldn't be backslash, it should be /. Jeez, my typing's really bad today. I'm sorry. We don't need any of that. But we do need a child. And this will be the new project core. Is that not? Cool. And that is the scope. So this is so that now we can specifically just call for this scoping. So let's go into the or we go app view and actually scope it out here. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I don't feel like that's totally right with the scoping idea, but it might be. It might be right. I just want to make sure. That's those scopes. Self.store. .scope. And I can call what it is. Okay. Self.store. Scope. New project state. Is it backslash? And then I can just do action dot new project. Right? Yeah, that looks right. That looks like what I could do. So I think that's right. So I think that's what we need. Let's run it and see what happens, because I think that should also be enough to actually like get my form to populate. I know that was a lot of like boilerplate code basically to do that, but hey, we have things and it closes, so that's awesome. And if we give a type name, this isn't hooked up, I guess, correctly, but we can fix that probably. Because it's just set to true. So we can do view store dot is add button enabled. It should also be jump to definition here. Let's rename this to disabled, because true makes it enabled. So disabled is equal to is less than or equal to 0. I don't know. I mean, in theory, you can't have anything less than 0, but let's just be safe. New project. This pops up. Test. And our add project is usable. Cool. Cancel, and it closes. So that's awesome. So that's exactly what we wanted here. There's a couple of things we could do to make this a little bit nicer. So like we can import. Let's go ahead and import SwiftUI. And there's a reason, so that we can say with this, we can do a with animation here. Right? And then we'll do another with animation here as well. And then let's do inside app view. I think that's where I put the transition, the dot scale. I could be wrong about that, but let's try it. Nah, that's apparently not what I do. Let's go find something like just so that it can like, I mean, ideally like it would just do a nice like fade up and out, like, you know. Let's see, self dot show form is done, dot transition should go on the outside. So maybe it's this one? Because that's the if statement. Let's see if that works. New project. No, it sure did not. Also, I don't think this is actually what I want. I think there is something in I bet I could just do it as like a full screen popover. Hold on. And then if that's the case, then there's something way better I can do. Like, likewise. Let's get rid of the Z stack. It's not necessary. Control I. It's still upset. That's fine. Dot pop full. I think I can just put it here. Yeah, dot pop over is pretty. We'll just do. Get is going to be view store dot new projects dot show add project form. Set is view store dot see. I don't have one. Sure. Let's just do that for now. I'm just curious. Like if this was what I needed to do and then I don't actually need. So like doing a popover, like I don't think I necessarily, no calls to this exact initializer. Okay. Of course, like why would there not be? I was looking for a point free yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't think this is actually yet what I want. GitHub, we'll go here. Again, I still don't think this is necessarily what I want, but it should help. What is composable navigation 2 and 3? Alerts and dialogues. That's so close to what I want. Sheets are probably the closest. It's view store.binding is what I want to do. Here. So we'll do view store.binding. And where'd this go? App 4 under... Oh, it's new project. We'll just do dot cancel. We'll just do something we're not supposed to do right now. No exact measure. That's not true though. Like it is there. Okay, it was just upset. That's fine. Well, that's pretty cool that the popover did that. That's not where I want it, though, to be honest. Like, that's not what I was hoping for. Let's see. So this is where, like, I've never really done SwiftUI on the Mac. I've done a lot on macOS. I mean, on iOS, but not this. So we're just gonna try to see. Is it a sheet that I want then? I'm about to have to take a break for just a moment. What does that look like on macOS though? I don't know, let's try it. Because usually the stuff is like almost the same, right? The initializers are basically the same from everything. Ah, that is actually quite what I wanted. Boom. And I bet I could even get rid of the material UI at this point in the back, or the material in the background. What was that in? That was a new project view. I don't think I've changed the theme color of Spotlight. This isn't Spotlight. This is Raycast. So if that's what you're talking about, this is, whoops. Wow. Command Shift O. This is just a quick open from Xcode, so I could be misunderstanding like what you're talking. I don't usually use Spotlight though, to be honest, ever. We can probably get rid of this though, and then get rid of that, because I think I'm like 98% sure that macOS has it built in, and I don't have to redo my own, which is amazing. When you use built-in stuff, you just don't have to worry about some things. Hold on. I'm gonna be right back. I need to take a little bit of a break. I've been going for like an hour, but I'll be right back in just a sec. Of course I am. Cool. I should not be muted anymore now. I need like something that like really like makes it apparent that I have muted myself like software wise somewhere. Like it's just like in the middle of my screen so I know. But then that gets annoying sometimes. But yeah, this is also I use the Arc browser, so it's a bit different. And that's what brings up another Spotlight interface. Spotlight-like interface. So that makes sense. All right, cool. So we have the name, description. We can add a project. So as long as you give the project a name. Big thing. You can add a project, which it doesn't do anything right now, or hit cancel and it'll close and go away. And those animations are already built in. I love when that happens. I mean, we have a delegate pattern going on for the cancel button. So I'm going to go ahead and commit this so I don't lose this, because I will. If I don't commit it, I will lose it, and that's always not a fun time. Opening and closing works. Cool. Usually I do work in separate branches, but right now I'm not going to because I am because I don't want to, ultimately. Cool. All right. So new project view, app core is done. So I think the next thing, we can basically just open. Did I do what I wanted to do in here? So it's a new project form that opens in the middle of the screen when clicking on, yes. So it does open. So I would say that the next thing is probably adding the submission to the database is the next thing that I really want to do. So I'm just using this Notion page, which y'all can, if you want to follow along with how it's going, like backlog, what's planned or coming up next, like stuff like that. Feel free. This is just in place until the app is good enough to do it itself. So I guess the next spot would be to make a new project from the database. So we have to get the database actually, like, add a new project to the database, which we actually have to like get going. Hey Dobby, please don't. Thank you. So let's do that. How do I do that? So we have the server running here. Let's close that. So this is the server project. This is just making sure that I'm going to do it this way to make sure that I have everything from the server basically going. Okay. But what I want to do is run Docker first and make sure this is running. That's weird. I think that's wrong. I don't quite know what that error is about. This is how little I actually run Docker and things. And then we'll run it just from Xcode. In the last stream, I ran it from the terminal. I'm just gonna do it from Xcode this time, just for the ease of Command R. And then we need the table app, just so I can view it. There we go. And we do have, I'm gonna go ahead and just copy this UUID. And because it's gonna give it well, we'll see. We'll try some things. Cool. So something we're gonna do to get this API. So basically, we're gonna switch from UI work to more of like API work inside the app. So I'm gonna make a new package here. and it's gonna be new folder. I guess I could just call it server, but like we'll just call it API for now. Sure. And then new file. API client .swift. We're gonna try to do this all the point-free way of like writing dependencies, accessing API clients and stuff like that. So point-free calls like a dependency, like something that you need to externally control, and that would definitely be like calling to an API. So we have this API client. Import dependencies, and let's call it struct API client. And let's just leave it at this for right now. And we're going to have to do lots of referencing again. I've only done this a few times with the API clients. I feel like I should keep this in logical order, like alphabetical order, as much as possible. Probably shouldn't just call it straight API, but that's what we're gonna go with there. And it's getting mad because there is no target for API yet. So let's go get that. I'm also really bad at naming. So can I extract like just dependencies from like I have the composable architecture right as a dependency inside my Swift package. Like that is a thing that exists here. Can I extract just the dependencies from it, or would that require it to be a separate package in here? If that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I don't know why I keep saying if that makes sense. Like I think it does. I should just own it. Mainly for the reason of the fact that like it'd be like the composable architecture already calls on Swift dependencies. So I bet I could. I bet because it's already in there, like I could just do .product name dependencies package, and it comes from Swift dependencies. But it might not. It might be like, yeah, you can't do that, and I'd be like, you're fine. You're right. I won't do that. That's fine. Like, it was a worthwhile shot. I just didn't think I needed the whole composable architecture, so I wasn't trying to grab all of the composable architecture. But that should be what I need then. Oh, yeah, you're right. Cyclic dependency, whatever it's called. Yeah, I had it twice, so that makes sense. Cool. So I can either go the AlamoFire route of like API calls and just be like super easy, or I can try to do it myself. If I'm trying to depend on as little as possible, like besides the point free and SF safe symbols, I feel like the route would be to go at API calls myself, but I also feel the route of going AlamoFire might be more useful once I start doing more well, maybe not more useful is the right word, but it might be a little bit more handy as I start like trying to do bearer tokens and stuff. But let's see what Google calls for. I haven't had to do many API calls, to be honest, in like my life, because mainly because I've been using like Firebase, or I've been using Core Data, and they just don't require a lot of like networking calls like this. So this is also a fun little new thing. First, we need a base to encapsulate our code for this service. We name it Rick and Morty service. And then we need character. So oh no, go back. So I'm just reading through this like article. And like I've done it before with like the Pokemon API. It's super easy with AlamoFire. Like I might just kick back to it. Like we use it at work. Do I want to keep just using it? I don't know. Now it's time to actually fetch data from our API endpoint once you have all of these built. So these are queries, filters, paths. See, what is cool is, that's not what's cool. That's just an example. It's like all of this stuff is already written in SwiftUI. I mean in Swift. Like, it'd be really neat to just like have these like kind of share. Like I possibly could have already shared some of these. I don't know how that would work necessarily, but it would be more neat to share the code across from the Vapor server to the Swift server. I feel like that's one of the nice things that you get whenever you start writing like full stack Swift, is that you can do that. I'm not completely sure yet how to do that, but we'll figure it out at some point probably. So first things first though, let's do our own network manager. Also, can I just say, if you ever write articles on the web, please do not do an image with text. Number one, like selfishly, like I'd like to be able to copy and paste. And number two, accessibility is definitely a thing. There are people who would like to use the code and can't read your code because it's in a picture if you don't do alt text. I don't know if this person didn't do alt text, but let's see. I bet not. But yeah, doesn't look like there is any alt text in there. So with that being said, like, please don't do this. Medium now supports code snippets exactly, or use a gist. I like going the GitHub gist route because then I can use it in multiple places, not just Medium. But like, please don't do this. I mean, it's fine for me. Like, I can do it, but like, don't. Like, there are people who need either the alt text or the code is just way easier. So it looks like we go off a base. So their network manager, we have an enum with an error, base URLs, send requests, which I don't even know if I have any errors set up in my, I guess it'll automatically send back like a 404 if I try to request somewhere I can't. Components, endpoint URLs, and then actually making the requests. Okay, I think we can do something like this. So let's see. Let's just make an API class. Whoops. Let's call it API. Whoops. manager.swift. I don't like this naming whatsoever because this means it's going to be really particular to this server, but that's fine. Let's just make it go down a little bit smidgen more so I can just keep them both open. So we know we need some errors, right? Because we'll definitely get some kind of error. I'm expecting us to get lots of errors once this is done. We'll just do a general error. We'll expand on it later. I do have to say, like, Xcode is getting better with its autocompletes, which is super nice. You know, I did make that Pokedex one, but I put it in, like, GitLab or something stupid. But this seems like... So it looks like there's, like, he's doing everything in an enum? Like, different extensions to search on that, like, character route dot search by, which is kind of an interesting idea. Well, that's also a super nifty idea. Let's see, is there a different one to look into? So these are API errors, base API. Takes in the whole thing. Excuse me. Okay, so this is just a generic, and I'll send back a result of a type or an error. Makes sense. So let's just call endpoints. What do we want to call these? Like, I guess it'll just be strings at the end, right? I don't know yet. And we definitely want it to be async. I think. I don't know. I haven't thought through like any of this. I'm just like, these need to happen. Generic type Swift. Is it cheaper to go with a Vapor instead of a serverless solution like Firebase or Supabase? You know, I don't know. It depends on how far you get, like, and how many users you have. Like, at a certain point, it might be, and at a certain point, it might not be. So, like, if you have a lot of users, you could definitely get that Firebase and probably Supabase bill really, really high really quickly. But if you have like 1 or 2 users, then the Firebase or Supabase is definitely going to be like cheaper. Going with something like Vapor is also, you have to keep in mind the you have to keep in mind the cost of maintenance. You have to build in more so with it. So like if I were to publish this app, which my plan is to publish the app or make it more than just me that's using it, I then have to keep up with server security, server maintenance, upgrading my server. There's a lot more that goes into running your own server than it does like Firebase and Supabase. Like Firebase, you just got to make sure your data is in a good spot, like a good like scheme for you to use. Whereas like Vapor, you have to have the database storage, if you're going to do anything with images, like your S3 storage or however you're going to connect, whatever you're going to connect to Vapor, basically. I guess you could put storage on the server, but you know, there's that. Computing cost, all that like goes with Vapor as well. And then also, like I said, maintenance wise, how much does it cost to host Vapor? It depends on the plan and what all you need, I think, to be honest. So it just depends on where you're putting it. Let's see here. I haven't looked into it, to be honest, yet, because I'm like, well, I gotta get this working first before I can even think about doing that. So if we go to deploy, there's lots of different options to deploy Vapor to, because you can do it on any like any virtual hosting. So like Heroku used to be popular, and you could probably get by with like the 5 or 10. I think it was like, I was looking into it before, and it was like cost me like $10 or $20 a month maybe. But I think that was like a really high plan that I probably didn't need right away. I think fly.io is also an option. And they have different pricing structures. So it just depends on your plan, what plan you're going to do for, what plan you're going to get this going. So like, just on a shared CPU, which I don't know if this is actually enough. Like you're looking at like $2 a month. You probably would want more than 256 megabytes of RAM. More than likely, I would say. I'd probably budget at least $10 to $20 a month, honestly, for these servers. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I've never tried to deploy a Vapor project yet. That's like part of this fun, is figuring that stuff out. And that's all part of this project. And then there's like DigitalOcean that you can use instead, and all that fun stuff. I could have gone with like a Firebase route. I actually was thinking of like pivoting today to a CloudKit based route, like using CloudKit as my storage basically, but then that requires everyone to have, well, I don't think it requires, because I think you can do it. I think there's a way to use CloudKit with like general like accounts. Like I could have accounts for like I could create the account somewhere and like store them in CloudKit still. Like I don't know, there's like ways around this. Ways to use CloudKit as like a general storage, but I didn't want to. Part of this is learning how Vapor works. Part of this is trying to like push my Swift knowledge. So this is all part of that. I do a lot of core data in CloudKit already, so I just want to try it myself. Okay, but like, why is this saying it can't find it? Like, am I not importing something right? Generic code enables you to write flexible, reusable functions and types that can work with any type, subject to requirements that you define. Here's a standard non-generic function called swap2ints, and it takes ints and it puts them there. It makes use of in-out parameters, which makes sense, I guess. But don't get me wrong, Firebase and Supabase can definitely get super expensive too. It just honestly depends on how you do it, what scale your app is at, and then also how are you reading and writing data at the same time. So it looks like I should just be able to put a T in there and the T would be able to do it. Do I need to put T here first though? I don't know. Like, so it knows that it's like a is that how we signify generics? I guess. And we're missing a return. Cool. That's just to get the thing not happy. I mean, the compiler happy. Oh, and so we send a request. We send a request. Wow, it's hard for me to speak. I definitely need something to take it like a little bit slower, to be honest. We're still early enough that people aren't really writing articles right now about it, about things. In the end, it's perfectly doable to implement a networking layer with a great URL, with the great URL session APIs which are available. Yeah, AlamoFire is super popular. But URL session these days seems pretty popular as well. Features which are easier to implement with AlamoFire. Okay, so AlamoFire contains a lot of extra logic apart from simply building a networking request. These features can make it so the list of features advertised in the repo README is long, but one that's unique is request retrying. So when a request fails, for example, because of an auth failure, you can easily refresh your auth token and invoke the same request again without touching the implementation code. That seems cool. And then I don't know what certificate pinning is necessarily, but I mean, if it's called out, there's probably a reason for it being called out. So you just do af.request, send the request method.get parameters. I mean, that just seems so easy, right? You have to build the components. So you have the string, let request equals try, generate and execute the request. I would still probably end up building my own network layer, and the layer needs to be tested. I think the answer that I'm looking for is probably to just put in another, let's just do an AlamoFire. Let's just add it. Why not? You know, like, I mean, there are a few reasons not to, but like, I think overall, like, it's gonna be an okay thing to do. And let's get it in. Swift package manager for the win. This should be everything I need, right? Yeah, that's just a stuck issue. So if you ever get an issue stuck in your Xcode, something I found is there's a product button at the top on your menu. You can't see it because my screen's going too far, but there's a product button. When you click that, there is a option that says clear all issues. You're gonna go want to tap that, and it's gonna get rid of all your issues, and then you can figure out if it just got stuck like in Xcode, or if it got stuck, or if it's an actual error like that you need to be concerned about. I don't suggest doing that for all issues, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. All right. Well, I like this a lot. I like this idea a lot more. So let's import AlamoFire still. We still need a base URL. So like if debug. So if we're in debug, we're gonna do that. Else. Hashtag and if. Cool. And then this is just going to be our local, I think it's like 127.0. I don't know what even ports like it's on. .0.0 dot. 8080. Cool. And so you're using the if debug, so we're just seeing if we're in debug mode or if it's been released. If we're in debug mode, great, we're just going to use the local ports, which in my mind is great. And then if we're not, then we're just not gonna. That's how it works. Cool. So we need to, let's just figure out how to do the first one. So there is a route configured already to at least get us hello Vapor, right? Like title hello Vapor. So we could do, I mean, let's do this app.get hello. So if in theory, if you were to go to this / hello, not in theory, we can do this. It's going to give us hello world, right? So that's just that is the route that gives us, that is the return value from this. So again, inside the Vapor server code, we have the function routes app.get hello, and that's what's sent. There's some other routes here. So like the project controller route, this is where like we could type in / I have the we have these routes here, like / projects. And when we send a post on the route, it will actually write a project here. So we could do a test here. Test 2, status is fine, because all you need to do to send a JSON to create a project is just have a title and then a status of some kind. And now if I send that, we'll get it okay. Test 2 is written, and if we look inside the database here, we actually have the test 2 description's null because that hasn't been included. And then it's linked to this status ID already. So we need to basically create this URL post inside of this API manager. So let's get rid of this. Let's do a, let's just do a func send post is it send post request? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Endpoint, which is a string, and then value. Which I don't want it to be any, but we're gonna go with that for right now. So the number one, I also want to adjust all of these to have like a / like API, basically. Like, is there a way to do that, to just be like, I guess I could just do it myself, right? Like v1 API / v1 / projects. Is that right? Is that like pretty convention? RESTful API route naming. Okay, so usually it's done on a so it looks like I could also do, like, if I wanted, like, it would be API dot whatever / device management, which I guess could work as well. It also makes sense to do as API dot. I still think we need like a v1 though, right? Like that way, like, version numbers like are important, so that if you do a breaking version, you can go to the next one. Do not use file extensions. Never use CRUD functions in these. Use query component to filter URIs. Yeah, so look, API v1. That looks pretty. That's what I've seen around. Ooh, see, this goes products / Oh, this is a question on resource path and naming best practice for product. API path can be specified as blue. Option 1 creates ambiguity by duplication of the same products noun in the path, whereas option 2 and 3 appear to be overworded. Oh no, go back. I was reading that. Okay, that makes sense. I think I'm gonna go that route. But I feel like there has to be a way to do this part first. But let's do... I think I'm way overcomplicating this at the same time, but it's fine. Yeah, so we could do... Wow, my JavaScript was showing. API. v1, right? Yeah. This makes sense, but I feel like it just keeps me from... Let's do this. Let latest. Right, so latest will always be updated. Hold on, latest doesn't make sense. Let production equals that. Because then production will always be that. I guess we'll do, yeah. And then we could even do a static let, like, beta equals blah. Right, so that would be like API / unreleased. And then you could do like a static let, and then you could create, and then once it's time to do the next one, like whatever's like if we could, I think this makes sense in my mind to do like more of like a production than anything. Production. Okay, and then in theory, like they should all go here as well. We've yet to do anything inside the app, by the way. This is me all just thinking out loud how to best do something. So like if I do this right now, in theory, we get a 404. Not in theory, we actually do get a 404 because this route no longer exists because I changed it to be whatever API version.production is. So that's API v1. So to do this, we add this guy in here and then test 3. Now if I send this, we're still doing not found. Well, that's fun. I was pretty sure that was gonna fix it. Why? What's going on? Oh, but it did post. Did it just not want to? Did it actually post though? No, it did not. It said it posted, but it didn't really post. Awesome. I love when I think things are working right. Like it is communicating here, which is weird. But why is it not communicating here? And then why is it not being found here? Let's just stop it. And try running it again. And I'm actually going to run it inside the terminal this time. Could not build module Darwin. That's cool. I love when stuff is like, nah, we're not gonna work. It's fine. Like it literally should just take Swift run. That shouldn't need to be. Path is currently using server.build. The path is currently. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I think I know what's wrong. So if we go to server, edit scheme, and then under, where'd it go? Is it no options? Maybe no info. You have to set the actual like folder, and I moved these around, and these have messed me up before. Run. There it is. So it was in a different directory before, so let's change this directory. Developer. Server. Where does it just needs to point to the server? Okay, let's cool, choose. So that should actually be right now. So that's probably what was wrong. Was my it wasn't pointed to the right derived data directory. If you don't point the Vapor server to the right derived data directory, it's just not. It's not going to work. It's not going to be a good time for anyone. Specifically your server. All right, and then I really need to find out how to, is this building? It's building. And then let's go into AlamoFire. So how do I make a request? It's still building. It takes a while to build these guys. So it looks like I literally can just do af.request and put the request in there, which is awesome. Did it? It's still building. All right. All right. While that's building, what we can do is we actually don't even need this API manager. Like this can all be handled. Can it be handled this way? I think it can't. Well, hold on. We're building. Okay, it's built. Running. We still get a 404. It's still saying that it's there. We still do not have anything. Do I need to restart Docker? Restart? I still don't understand why it's saying 404, but the server itself is definitely getting these. Is there more info? Because it's just saying not found. Like I don't... It's definitely found. I'm just trying to like, maybe I messed up somewhere? Project controller, API version, production. So this should be a string, which is fine. I wonder if it's how I'm doing it. Dot grouped. I'm now curious why I'm just getting like 404s. I shouldn't get 404s. Okay, but what if I just do like, what if I just go back to doing projects? So let's like discard this, change, replace this back. This is what happens when you put a person who doesn't know how to do server-side stuff. Okay, so this works. / projects. I'm just wondering if like I need to go like, well, this is definitely not right. Oh, because it. I feel like there should be a better way to do this, but let's try it. No instance method to grouped. It should just be there. See, it takes a whole path. So like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, we're gonna very easily be able to call things. And then I was like, let's complicate this. And this is what happens when I complicate things. Oh, that's a lie, but that's fine. Okay, well, we'll just discard change. We'll not worry about my little antics there of trying to do like API v1 because I don't think it's gonna work right now and I need to look into why. Cool. So let's just rerun this and it'll be fine. So we definitely know we have endpoints though. So let's drop in a new file. API endpoint. And we know that one of them is a case. I mean, is a project. So projects. Equals projects. Cool. Let's just run this just for funsies and make sure we get back. Cool. 200. Okay. And we should have a lot of new tests. So awesome. That works. So we have the static endpoint here, API client. I don't actually think we need this, but we're gonna do it anyway. Send post request. So we'll do a func send add post project, I think is probably what we want. I don't know if this is quite it yet. I feel like this is really like unique and doesn't really create a good layer between, but that's fine for now. So we need to send it the post project project, which we don't have a project type, so we need to make that. I'm gonna make a new file here, new folder called WhipKit command N project public struct project. It's going to conform to codable. And inside a project, what can we have? That's probably best defined inside the Vapor database. Oops. No, come back. Oh my goodness. you can extend, and let's see, under sources, we have this project model, which is basically what we need here. So we know we're going to have a var ID, UUID, title, which is a string, description, which is also a string, but it's an optional string, right? Var status, which is a status type, and that's not optional. And then var to-dos, which is a to-do. And let's, these are basically just models, so I guess I could drop another folder in here. New file, status. Jump to definition here. We're just gonna copy this. I feel like this makes the most sense. Well, actually, struct, public struct. Let's get rid of this. So status equivalent is just like case to do. What do I write them as? Backlog to do in progress completed. So like people can basically create their own statuses, but they all conform to like an equivalence status so that it's easy for me to keep track of, like for later purposes. And then new file here. Last one is a to-do. Paste. Whoops. To-do. Public struct again. And it also needs to conform to codable. And then what's inside a to-do? To-do. Everything. Everything is inside a to-do. So let's grab that. Paste it here. String, description, order, created at, updated at, completed on, visibility, which we'll have to create as well, status, and project. Let's go create this visibility real quick. Copy, model, new file. Visibility. It does feel like I'm getting a little bit repetitive because I have these visibilities before, but we want these same things. Copy, paste, and it should be an enum. My bad. All right, I think that's right. now. I think that's all I need. And then inside the package, we need to go declare this whip kit. Copy. Paste. There's a lot of work that goes into doing this stuff, which, I mean, it happens everywhere. Like, you'd have to make all the models and such, even if you were using, like, not Vapor. It's just a lot. One sec. Ooh. Cool. So we have whip kit. Targets are there. Let's make a natural target here. Super should not depend on anything, to be honest. Like, these are just gonna hold like models and such. So that should be all we need. Yeah, that's nope, we don't need to. Can you fix it yourself? Cool. Okay, but like, where does this go? Okay, so WhipKit needs to definitely go into API for shoresies. That way it has access to all these like things that we just did. So that should and then we can import WhipKit. Cool. So now we have a project. So now we can go. Let's do a here. How do we make a request? It's just af.request method.post. How do you send something with it? Downloading data to a file, authentication, uploading. How do I make a post request with URL encoded parameters? So it looks like it should be slightly easy. Method.post. Oh, and then I need to make parameters, it looks like. Okay. One sec. Let me actually just one sec. Sometimes like the dog's vets come up as spam. Sometimes they don't, so I always like have to answer just in case like it's something important. All right, so it looks like I need to create a parameters, but you know what we're gonna do is actually just put it on top of inside project. We'll just do a var new project, and it's just gonna be a string. And is it a string? Can I do, does it need to be another string? Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. So we'll do title, and then description. That looks right, right? That's how we do a dictionary? I think that's right. I don't know. We'll make it up. Figure it out. And so then we can pass in the parameters dot project dot oh, did I not make it public? I probably didn't. So yeah, so that makes a new project based off of that. That makes sense. Okay, so now we can do project dot new project. It doesn't look like I absolutely have to do that, actually. And how are these sending them? It looks like it's just sending as JSON. Sorry. Yeah, body is sent as JSON. JSON parameter encoding. It still is string, but then it's just... Okay. So, encodes encodable values using Swift's JSON encoder, so that's cool. Oh, but I could also encoded URL try. Well, that seems like it's doing more than what I wanted to do. You can customize the behavior of JSON parameters. That's cool. And then it can try to convert to snake case, so that's actually good to know. But we want to do this. Pretty printed should be fine, I think. How does response handling work then? You know, I did all of this for like work, but like, you know, life happens, right? Let request equals AlamoFire dot request. Then we can do request dot cool. So let's just add this to our API client struct. Let's make this public. import WebKit here, right? Yeah, so we're gonna import WebKit there, and let's go dependencies. Where's there? I really just want the documentation. Can't, like, do they not? Swift dependencies, there it is. Extension, so it looks like, how do I write it? Docs. Here. How do you make a dependency though? Registering dependencies. Private enum, API client, key, so that's a dependency key, static let live value dot live. I don't have a dot live yet. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out. So this dependencies library that I'm using is a nifty way to write. It's a nifty way to write dependencies. So it kind of allows me, if you're familiar with SwiftUI and you're familiar with like the @environment variable, it's basically the exact same thing as that. I mean, I shouldn't say the exact same thing. It's basically that, but it allows me to use it kind of wherever. It doesn't have to be within a SwiftUI view, which is the nifty part of it, I think. Okay, but that registers the dependency, which is great. That's not right. Return. How does this work? How do I've done it literally before. So when you do it, self, return self. And then what is it looking for in the API client again? It's looking for add new project. How, though, am I trying to do this again? The cool thing is I've done lots of these. I've done bits and pieces because I like using the TCA stuff in a lot of my apps, but sometimes I just don't remember quite how to do a certain thing. So we'll do this project in, right? Add new project in, and we can, and now I can do like what I want to do. So I could do var API manager equals API. I don't need to pass in a base URL actually. Let's edit this. Equals production URL, which I don't know what it is yet. Like I have to figure out names and stuff. So for right now, these are actually the same. Let's just comment out this part and add in a wonderful to-do statement here. To do, replace once you know the URLs. It totally is. So we go here and there's a static, public static probably needs. Cool. API manager. We could probably just keep it let, right? So project. Post project. Project. I think that's what I needed. That creates the .live. This should... What am I doing wrong? How does this look? I always do. And it's like I try to follow the docs and the docs just... It's not that they lead me down the wrong way. I just don't know what I'm doing. But there should have been a... So that executes the fetch shows. That's the tests. So in core data client, we have the dependency key. But it totally is now. Let's change this to API. I'm not asking it to do the... Cannot assign value of type API client to subscript. So this would be public var API client. API client. Self equals new value. Right, but this is something... Okay, so according to the struct, we have that, right? I have that. The API client here. Then we have an extension set to live, which I have. Then, oh, and then this just has it be the, like, conform to the dependency key. Okay, so let's just do that. Why don't we just do that instead? And then here is the API clients. I have a live, oh, and then does it need to be like live value instead of live? Probably. I think that should actually fix my... So is something wrong with to do? We should always have an ID. Okay, and then we can... Ooh, it requires that project conform. Okay, well, that's not what I wanted anyway. Can we, explicit codable? Is it because of this, like, status equivalent thing? Like... Like, I feel like this should be right at this point. Ooh, okay, so it doesn't do this. So why is this not encodable? That's awesome. I love decoding this stuff. Let's do... Okay, so what's from encode? So we... Keyed by... I feel like I shouldn't have to write this. Like, I feel like there's something wrong. Also, like, these shouldn't be optional. Let's try this. Let's take these from not, they shouldn't be optional. Let's. Like, why? Why is it not conforming? What if I just don't do status equivalent? And I take out to-dos? Why is it still not... working? Status is not conform to... So, like, I'm missing something about, like, being able to encode and decode, but... Okay, but why? Yeah. So something in here is not... But it still doesn't conform to codable. Even, like, all of these things should conform to codable, but, like, it doesn't. Oh, but it does now. Oh, those look like they were just holdovers. Okay, well, fix it. Alright, well, I feel like I'm gonna have to stop before I actually, like, finish any of this. Okay, well, it's for sure something to do with this visibility thing. Sure. All right. I'll have to figure that out at some point. But we have the API client done, right? Nope, we have that. That's a lie. I have that. Right, so API, does it have to import everywhere? All right, so I do have to import it here. So on what is that, new project core, we're gonna do API, and then we can import API here. And we also need whip kit. And a comma. I feel like this may or may not be the right thing to do, but let's try it. API client dot send dot. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Public static var live value, so it should be API client. Like, that's how we use it, right? So it should just be dot whatever I need to do. So inside API client, this should be public. That's the issue. The hardest thing about doing like any kind of packages is that you have to like remember to make things public. Dot add new project. We should give it a UUID if it doesn't have one. Like, there should always be a UUID, basically. I think status, it doesn't... can equal nil. Also, and then to-dos, if you don't have any to-dos, it's gonna be blank, right? So now we could do a title, and we need to make this a public init from app. I think that's all I need to send. There we go. All right, let's see what happens. I'm very excited to see what happens. I'm very excited to just watch it burn at the same time. Yeah, so we got a failure. Unsupported URL. Oh, because we're in a sandbox. Let's fix that. Signing capabilities. App sandbox. Incoming, outgoing. Let's try it again. Something I found out about Mac apps is whenever any kind of network calls like outside of the app are... So something I found out about Mac apps is network calls are declined by default because you're in a sandbox state. So you have to go and enable it in your project settings to get that entitlement right. I think that's what this issue is. We're still getting failure. Unsupported URL. Finish with error. But why? Why is it unsupported? Well, that's definitely like projects. Like it didn't even add a slash. So let's go see what I'm doing wrong there. Because maybe I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I just did plus. I should have probably done a... I'll just put a forward slash here. Let's try again. Add project. Add project. And it's still wrong. So it's still an unsupported URL. HTTP. Maybe I have to put all the pieces in. I don't know, but we're gonna try. Ah, we have a success, an optional, and it just says test. It doesn't. What happened here? Value of type optional string required for key description. Okay, so there was a warning coming through. So, it's not that it failed necessarily, but it definitely did not succeed. So I feel like we could do a little bit better here. Inside project. Description is nil here, but it shouldn't be ever nil. Oh, because it's not declared. Well, it should just allow it to be optional, right? And then this doesn't matter, right? Let's try again. I'm determined. I missed my stand hour. Oh well. It was optional. Value type status required for key status. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's go get a status ID. And let's go make a status. I actually do want to make a new status, though. How can I make a new status? Where is paw? Create, fetch, create to do status, statuses. So we'll just make a new one. Duplicate. Create to do status. You know what? It's okay. We'll just do this in progress. So we know we need a status that's gonna basically just be these values. Copy. Status. We'll just do an extension here. I mean, we'll just do a... from a string. Title. What's the title? In progress. Color is yellow. And then description. I just want to see if this will work. And then I have to actually wrap it up, y'all. Is this. And so we do need to send status. or status.mock. So if a status isn't passed in, we get status.mock, right? Let's try again. It's really interesting to me what is required. So I feel like I'm not doing something right because to post it, I only needed the title. Oh, I did need a status. Well, that was silly of me. Okay. Let's try again. And then I have to stop. Testing again. Not that it matters. I just really need to. I think we got another error, which we need to send back if the errors are wrong. This one. So value of type status is required for key status. Yes, we know. It sets a status. Oh, I have to send a status here. And then I think that'll work. It might not work. Status is we just need the ID. Of status dot ID. That straight what? Any cannot conform to encodable. Okay, so that's way different. Nope, that's not how that works. All right, y'all. I need to figure out what's going on, but I also need to go. Because this would go twice in. I wonder if I could just wrap this all in a string. Probably not, but let's see. Cannot convert. Oh, whoops. Let's do that. And then that needs to go here. Is that right? Yeah. All right, this is my last chance. Last chance, and then I gotta go. I never stopped my timer for freelancing. Awesome. I am pretty sure it's still something is wrong, but still status is required for value of type status is required for key status. So something is wrong there. I don't know quite what yet, but we will figure it out at some point. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all have a great weekend if it's the weekend. If not, you know, like have a good day. Hit me up on all the socials at HeyJWilson, like everywhere. And I will catch y'all next week at about the same time. Bye, y'all.